Okay, so the 6 steps to creating fame, I've designed this to be these circles, these concentric circles, because they aren't really sequential steps. They're all different elements of a sphere. That's kind of weird how I described it. But they're, just so you know, they're not sequential steps. There's 3 layers of the circle, and then there's 2 steps in each layer. So this will continue to make more sense as we go through the presentation. Okay, so layer 1, this is the core of your plan. So these are the core things that everything else builds upon. And these are the things that you have going constantly, that you have going 24/7. And I want to tell you all these steps we're going to dig into in a lot of detail in the Creating Fame program. I'm going to give you the link to sign up for that and tell you more about the Creating Fame program at the end of this presentation. But the Creating Fame program is also structured around these 6 steps. So everything I'm teaching you right now, I'm going to be working with you to do exactly that in the Creating Fame program, obviously with a lot more detail and the sort of nuts and bolts. How do I actually get this done on my website? That kind of stuff, where right now we're going to talk about more the conceptual. So the core is your website. Your website is so, so important. I cannot overemphasize that. And a lot of people will do social media campaigns, but then use all that traffic to send people to a subpar website, which is just the hugest waste of your time ever, honestly. Because what's the point of having like 10,000 followers on Twitter if you send them all to a junky website and they can't figure out how to work with you, they can't contact you, you're not capturing their email? Like, it's fun maybe to have all those followers on Twitter, but they're not doing anything for your business if you don't have a good website to send them to. Um, you're usually not signing deals over Twitter. It's happened before. I mean, I've definitely had people contact me for work over Twitter, but there usually has to be some other step outside of Twitter to actually, exchange money that involves the website. So a few little core things that you want to have on your website. You need to make it really easy for people to work with you, and you need to make it really easy for people to understand what you do. This is something that I admit has been difficult for me, and then I'm constantly listening to people's feedback, and I'm constantly listening to the language that people use to understand what it is that people are looking for from me. Because I tend to talk, I go to my social media terms, but I have to remember that people don't know what that means. And it's really important on your website that you're speaking in your audience's language instead of your own language. This is a trap that a lot of us fall into. Because if I just say that I teach people about Twitter and someone doesn't know what Twitter is, well, goodbye. Where that might be a great prospect for me because I'm actually really good at teaching people who are totally new to social media. So I don't just want to rule out anyone who hasn't heard of Twitter. So think about that for your own website. That's such an important part. And I know you've probably heard that before, but are you really doing it? Do people really truly understand exactly what you can do for them by reading your website? So the next important part is your ongoing communications. So think of your website in the middle, and then your ongoing communications are what's constantly revolving around your website. In my opinion, and you're here to hear my opinion, right? In my opinion, if you want to create fame, you need to have some sort of regular content going. Now that can take many different forms, and you need to do what you're good at. And this is another big mistake I see people making. Some people will listen to people and they'll say, you have to do video, or you have to do a podcast, or you have to have a blog. You don't have to do any of those things. You should do what's right for you. So I like to make videos because I don't like to write long essays. It's easy for me to be on camera. That's not intimidating for me. So I do a video blog. I also do a newsletter. My newsletter is called The Dash. But you'll notice that my newsletter is not long articles. It's very, very short things. And again, it's video in the form of screencasts where I show people what to do. And that was a very deliberate decision because I knew that I needed to do a weekly newsletter, but I knew that I could not write an article every week, that was not going to happen for me. And you need to be really honest with what's not going to happen for you and what is easy for you, because that's how you can make it work. Because people will say to me, like, oh, you generate so much content, I just don't have time. But the reason I'm able to generate a lot of content is because I choose mediums and I choose formats that make it easy for me to do. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot and decide to make a video every week if being on camera terrifies you? Don't do that. Don't do that. Choose what's easy for you to do. And I think you need something every single week. And that does not have to be difficult. And Creating Fame, I'm actually going, in the program, I'm going to explain to you exactly how I scheduled my newsletter for the entire year. And that doesn't mean like I went nuts for a week and did nothing but my newsletter. I just planned it out and scheduled it. I'll share that exact process for how you can schedule and plan what you do to make sure that you have great content and make sure that you have an easy process for yourself to constantly keep it going. So again, the core is your website, build your foundation. And the other core thing that's always going around your website is your ongoing communications, which can be a blog, an email newsletter, a podcast, a video show, video blogs, or whatever combination of those things is right for you. I think you need it every single week. You need to remind people that you're around every week and that you're giving great content every week.